Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a series that has been on the channel for quite some time now. I would say years, really. And as far as this series goes, I like to call it Evolution. It's a series where we look at the history of Call of Duty, going back all the way to the early Call of Duty games, looking at where things started and where they've came. But with this, we like to look at different things, sometimes weapons, sometimes maps, sometimes different game modes. But today, to bring back the series, I wanted to go with something maybe a little bit more controversial, something that people like to argue about, talk about, and that is, of course, if you can't read by the title, microtransactions. Microtransactions have been in Call of Duty for a very, very long time in different forms. We've had things like DLC, which we're going to talk about. We've had things like supply drops, and then going into bundles with what we have today. I wanted to look at how these microtransactions started and how they got to where they are today. Some forms may be better than others. We're going to talk about all of that as we go through the evolution of microtransactions in Call of Duty. So let's get this out of the way right away. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare really didn't have any microtransactions, but what they did have was DLC. One called the Variety Map Pack, which brought some of the best maps of all time, including Broadcast, Kill House, and Chinatown. Now, as far as this map pack went, you could buy it, you would get the maps, and that was pretty much it. I don't really count this as microtransactions. We more so call this DLC, and in fact, this wasn't the first Call of Duty game to do so. Call of Duty 2 had 3 different DLC map packs, Call of Duty 3 had 2 different DLC map packs, and Call of Duty 4 simply only had 1. And as far as this DLC goes, we see this continue for an extremely long time in the Call of Duty series, as you're going to see by this video. However, things did change a little bit here and there. A great example of this is World at War. Now, I say World at War was a little bit different because 2 reasons. First off, this was the first time we ever got a free map with Macon Day, which was just a day version of the map Macon. Pretty straightforward, but there was also 3 different map packs, and each of them had a corresponding zombies map. The first one that we had was Verrückt, and this continued with every single DLC pack, and this is something we would see continue throughout the various different Black Ops games. Now, this DLC method would remain relatively similar through the next few Call of Duty games, but something would change in Modern Warfare 3. Now, technically, this was implemented closer towards the end of Black Ops. However, what this was a paid-for subscription service where you could view all of your Call of Duty stats online, and on top of that, by paying it, you could get access to the DLC because of it. People hated this method, and it's one of the reasons why it very quickly got removed and no one used it anymore. Now, you may be thinking, we really haven't talked about any microtransactions yet, and that's because they were really first implemented in Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 actually had the very first ever DLC weapon in a Call of Duty game with the Peacekeeper, and essentially the way that this worked is if you bought the DLC pack Revolution, it would give you, of course, the maps, the zombies map, but also the Peacekeeper as a weapon. This is something that we're going to see more and more throughout the games. Now, on top of this, there was also store items. Now, unfortunately, none of the images are loading, but of course you had the map packs, but on top of this, you had things like personalization packs, which would essentially give you weapon camos and things along those lines. There was also calling card packs, which would give you various calling cards, and you could also buy extra slots, which would give you extra create-a class slots. This is something, again, that we'll see that will kind of disappear in some Call of Duty games, as you'll see. And moving forward, this is something that we're going to see more and more of with Call of Duty Ghost. So in Call of Duty Ghost, there was once again more DLC weapons. We had the Mavic Assault Rifle. We also had the Ripper SMG, as well as the Sniper Rifle version of the Mavic as well. These were all received through DLC, so if you bought the DLC pack, you got the weapon that went along with it. Now, the one thing that I forgot to mention with Black Ops 2 is the Season Pass. This is a thing in most Call of Duty games, starting in Black Ops 2, and basically you buy the Season Pass, you get all of the DLC. However, what is not included is what we are actually talking about, and that is the microtransactions. So they once again up the game in Call of Duty Ghost with personalization packs. As you can see here, they're essentially various different skins for weapons in the game. There was also on top of that customization packs, which in this game you were actually able to customize how your character looked, and as you can see, they actually implemented some characters from the campaign as well, which was pretty interesting, and the first time that they ever did this in a Call of Duty game. Once again, there was the option to buy extra slots for create a class as well, and we also have some voiceover packs for the first time too. So as you can see, once again, just amplifying on all of those microtransactions. However, what we're about to see is where things started to go off the walls, and that's with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, Advanced Warfare is where things really got crazy. So to start things out, we have our store items. So you have your normal DLC packs, just like we've talked about in all of the other games. And of course, there was the season pass as well, as we talked about. Now, on top of all of this, there were personalization packs, as you can see here, which would give you a custom exo, weapon skin, so on and so forth. But there was also just personalization packs, which were weapon camos, custom exos, which were just your exo suits, and other ones like flag exos, for example. There were also additional items like buying extra creative class slots, but of course the thing that we have to talk about with this game is supply drops. For the first time, gambling was introduced to Call of Duty was Advanced Warfare, and with it, essentially what you could do was buy supply drops, and they would give you various different customization items, but on top of that, weapon variants with different stats. On top of this, this was the way that you would receive DLC weapons in this game as well, and with so added a completely new and, in my opinion, very egregious way of getting people to spend money, because instead of knowing what you're buying, it is completely random and up to chance. This is something we're going to see in the future in the next couple of Call of Duty games, and with it, we'll only see it get more egregious. Now, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, in my opinion, is probably the most egregious game when it comes to microtransactions. And the reason why I say that is, well, first of all, Call of Duty points were added, and on top of that, we had crypto keys and other currencies as well that you could earn through game. But as you're going to see, COD points kind of reign supreme. Now, on top of this, you also have specialist outfits that you can buy, so just straight up outfits, as well as supply drops, which we're going to look at in a second. On top of this, there was also map packs, as well as the season pass that we've seen before in most of the Call of Duty games we looked at. There were various zombies maps, including the Zombies Chronicles, which was released later in the game's life cycle. And on top of this, there was also still extras like extra slot packs as well. But on top of this, there was something else big. They added in something called the black market, and in the black market is where you would buy your supply drops, and as you can see, you could buy these with crypto keys, or you could buy the rare ones with Call of Duty points. So for example, you open a supply drop here, and inside you get randomized items. Now you can earn brand new weapons from this, you can earn weapon skins, you can earn things for your specialist characters, but of course you could also earn new weapons. The problem with this game is it was so rare to actually get one of these new weapons that people would sometimes literally spend thousands of dollars just for the chance to earn a new weapon, and sometimes still not even get it. Now, as the game's life cycle went on, they added into various different things like scrapping your duplicates for crypto keys, and as well as contracts and other things that you could earn like triple play items and things along those lines, which did make it slightly easier to earn items, but still it was either quite the grind or you would spend a lot of money. And keep in mind, a lot of these things that were added, like the triple play and even these 6-packs or daily doubles, were added way later in the game's life cycle. So yeah, it was really tough to get new weapons, and there were a lot of individual items, and you could earn individual attachments for weapons as well that would simply just change the way your weapon looked. In other words, there were so many little items, it was hard to get the things that you actually wanted. And this is something that would actually change moving forward in a couple of ways, starting with Infinite Warfare. I will say Infinite Warfare did make an active effort to make the system a little bit better. There were still some big problems with it, but one thing that they did was add a daily bonus, which, as you can see here, can sometimes give you keys, which kind of adds to your ways of unlocking various different things. There were still store items. For example, you could still get the season pass, which gave you some extra rewards like supply drops and extra salvage. But on top of this, there was your normal DLC packs, which did have zombies maps within this game. There were advanced packs, which would give you like voiceover packs by some celebrities, as you're seeing here. But on top of this, the main thing that you want to probably look at here is something called the Quartermaster. Now, the thing that you're probably more likely to think of with microtransactions in Infinite Warfare is with the Quartermaster. Now, in the Quartermaster, you can see that you can buy various different things, but the biggest thing is, of course, supply drops. You could use your keys and unlock various different types of supply drops. For example, we can unlock a rare supply drop, and as you're going to see here, once you do so, it gives you, once again, completely randomized items, but there's different types of randomized items. For example, there we got salvage, we got a weapon blueprint, and with these weapon blueprints, there were various different types. If you go to your armory, you can first of all see that you can get the MK2 weapons, which there are various different ones that you could only get through supply drops. whereas your other different weapons you could purchase with salvage. The problem is that the MK2 versions would give you an extra XP bonus, whereas the other ones wouldn't. So they actively tried to make it easier to do these things, but of course there was other things that were added later in the game's life cycle, like kill streak bonuses that you could only unlock with salvage. And essentially what this did would either have to make you play a lot or spend a bunch of money buying various different types of supply drops. Later on, they also added various different things, like as you can see, the LMG camo hack, which would specifically give you individual items that you could be hunting for, or as you can see here, the nuke pack. You could buy these with keys, you could buy these with COD points, and yes, it was better than Black Ops 3. There was more ways to unlock various different things, but at the same time, it was still completely randomized. This was something that we'd see put into the game that was released at the same time, Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 4 Remastered.
Let's do this.
So Modern Warfare Remastered is an interesting one, because technically it was an add-on game, and even in this, there is still a map pack that is available to buy, which is the Variety Map Pack that we talked about way back in Call of Duty 4. But the main way that they earned money with microtransaction in this game is with Call of Duty points and something called the Depot. Now, once again, this is supply drops, and as you can see, you can spend either currency earned in-game or Call of Duty points to unlock various different things. There are different types of supply drops based off of events, and as you can see right here, I'm buying a common supply drop, and it's going to give me various in-game items. Now, as far as this goes, once you unlock certain items, you can then see them in your collections. And say, for example, we go to Operation Lion Strike, you'll see various different weapons that you can earn, like the Boss 14. And with this, if you unlock everything within the collection, you can then unlock the weapon. Now, the cool thing about this is you can spend the in-game currency and actually unlock the things that you directly want. This is a better system than we saw in, for example, Black Ops 3, but it still wasn't perfect. There was still that method of chance. And this is actually something we see carried forward within Call of Duty World War II. So in World War II, it follows the same thing that we saw before. With the DLC content, you can buy the season pass, or you can buy the individual DLC packs, each of which has a different zombies map. Like I said, there is the season pass, but what is different here is inside the Quartermaster. Now, the Quartermaster is where you can buy supply drops and open supply drops, and inside get various different items. You can also complete contracts to earn different armory credits, which you can use on various different things. But the way that it works in this game is very similar to Modern Warfare Remastered, where there are collections. So for example, if you go to the Resistance, for example, you can go inside here, and to unlock the Volkssturmgewehr, you can buy all of these individual items and therefore unlock the blueprint and unlock the weapon. It's a more direct method than just pure RNG, yet there are still supply drops, as you can see here, which essentially is the RNG component of it. This is actually the last time we'd see this in this capacity. However, with Black Ops 4, they just decided to make things more confusing. Black Ops 4 is an interesting one because they were the first ones to implement essentially a battle pass. However, they did it in a way that a lot of people really didn't like. Inside the battle pass, you could unlock characters or various different things just like a normal battle pass. However, once you reach the top level, there was another thing called reserves, and reserves were essentially supply drops where you'd get an item out of them and at complete random. And similar to Black Ops 3, these items were so filler that it was hard to get what you actually wanted, and because of that, many people just got frustrated with the time restraint needed to actually unlock a whole bunch of these things, and to buy a bunch of them is fairly expensive. So once again, the RNG returned with a bit of a twist with the battle pass system. However, there was still DLC in this game, there was still a season pass, but this would all change with Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was essentially the game that changed everything. No longer did you need to pay for a season pass or DLC, you simply got everything for free. However, what you did have to pay for was much different. They implemented actually a pretty decent battle pass system with 100 tiers that you could earn various different skins, blueprints. The one we're looking at here, of course, is for Black Ops Cold War and Warzone, but at the time it was for Modern Warfare. They also implemented straight up store items, and with these, you could essentially buy exactly what you wanted. If you wanted a bundle with an Alex operator skin, you could simply buy that. It came with blueprints, and the prices weren't too crazy. I still think they're a little bit expensive, but it's pretty good. As you can see, another example is Ghost Grim Reaper skin here, or you could simply go ahead and just buy something with a weapon that you liked. These were added with various different types of skins, and as we see in Black Ops Cold War, they amplified this, but there was also tracer rounds and dismemberment and various different things that would change up the way that you played, but wouldn't make you any different from anyone that you were playing against. And we would see this continue in Black Ops Cold War. Come Black Ops Cold War, essentially the exact same system was in place as Modern Warfare. Once again, we have the same battle pass, and it is important to mention that you could earn weapons through the battle pass at various different tiers. Generally speaking, at tier 31, and on top of that, tier 15, you would receive the new weapons for that season. And any other weapons that were to be added to the game could be unlocked via challenges. You don't have to pay a dime, which in my opinion is awesome to see. On top of that, we once again have store items, but this time they also added reactive and Mastercraft blueprints as well, which were updated from Black Ops 4. Now, this is all a really good system compared to the supply drops that we had before. Basically, with this, what you pay for is what you actually get. There's no sort of randomization or slot machine involved with how you actually unlock things. And to me, this is the best system we've had, and not to mention, once again, the DLC, the maps, things along those lines are all free. And I think with this, it has brought many more people to the game. And that is it. That's the evolution of monetization. I should mention two things. First of all, I didn't mention Call of Duty Mobile because it's a mobile game, it's free to play, and has a ton of microtransactions that are kind of different than everything else that we've seen. The other thing is the current model that we see in Black Ops Cold War and we saw in Modern Warfare are also present in Warzone as well. They are kind of all interconnected, so there wasn't a point of going over that and reiterating it once again. But that's the evolution. That is everything that has happened with microtransaction throughout the history of Call of Duty. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Let me know what you think the best model was. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed the video, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button. It does really help with the channel, and these videos take forever to put together, so it is always appreciated. And subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see the evolution of next. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out. We are